What's going on, guys? Starting this video off a little bit different. The 68 hadn't been crunk in a while. Fixing to crank it, battery's probably dead, and there's gonna be a lot of background noise. It's because it is some horrible weather, as you can see. But better to do. If it doesn't crank right up, we will throw the charger on it and fire it up that way. But hang on and you'll get a cold start of the 68. I'm gonna set you down right here. I get asked is, what about this car, that car, what's going on over here? So here we go. I really expected the battery to be dead, but it wasn't. And carburetor needs just a little bit. It's idled down a little bit too much and it's loading up with fuel. Boy, this whole shop smells like gas now. Whew. But to answer a lot of people's questions, 68, it's got a 383 in it, 202 160 head. The car is low geared. I mean, 60 mile an hour, you've got it tacked up so high that it's almost unbearable to drive. But short trips, it is so much fun going through the gears. It's so much fun. Love it. Now, if you wanted to go somewhere, listen right here. It's got the Cruise-O-Matic automatic in it, 289, 4-barrel, bone stock. The only thing this car has is a 4-barrel intake. Other than that, an aftermarket 4-barrel intake. Other than that, bone stock car, original pony interior, beautiful wood. I would not be scared to get in this car and go anywhere. I've heard that sales pitch a million times, but that is 100% truth in this car. I would drive this car anywhere on this earth. Great car. But I don't know. I think I may have some plans for this car. Let me know what you think. If this car was a fastback, there's not a doubt in my mind what I would do to this car. This car would have a Coyote engine in it as quick as I could get one shipped. But with it being a trunk car, coupe car, I don't know. Sorry for the break a while ago. I was standing here going over everything with these cars and I started hearing gunshots, which it was just my neighbor. He was outside target shooting, practicing, and didn't know where it was coming from, so I had to go investigate. But with all that being said, I'd kind of got off topic anyway. The topic of this video right now is Memphis Street Outlaws, JJ the boss, the whole Memphis, Arkansas crew. And to start with, I'm going to give you a quick rundown on what I know about JJ from what he said in the podcast and what I have just gathered through social media. Don't know him, don't know anything other than what he said, but mad respect for the guy. A lot of respect for that man. Come up from little to nothing, built what he has now just through being himself. From what I've gathered of him on the show, he is one of the nicest and has the biggest hearts of anybody in that world. I've seen him, there's been 3 or 4 episodes so far, and I've seen him, with Ronnie Pace and one other guy. he went to take the money and, you know, give part of it back just because, you know, travel money is what he called it. You know, you can't find that just anywhere. That is genuine heart is what that is. I don't think that was nothing for TV, nothing for show. One major flaw that I see with them going forward in the Memphis Street Outlaws is this: they do not have a list. He says that they are a family. They don't have a list. They do not race each other. Okay, the only problem that I see with that going forward with the television show is they are not going to be able to get somebody on there every week. What are they going to do in those weeks where they don't have someone coming in? They have not had a crew from one place come in yet, except Las Vegas. And when they went to Vegas, they was California. There was several states of people there. It wasn't just Vegas. And, you know, when Ronnie Pace and them, you know, he named off several states that they had cars coming from. And they haven't got a full group of people to come yet. So, you know, they're only going to be able to do that so long before they run out, you know, without racing the same people twice. That is the major flaw that I see in that show. I do feel like they need a list. You know, their cars are scattered all over the place. If I had to just say, you know, that's going to be your fastest car, you know, in TV world, he don't have Prostitute right now, and that would have been one of their biggest heavy hitters on the street. But, you know, you got the Jamie Otts with the killer cab. That car is insane fast. That car ain't no joke. That car is not one you take lightly. And Gangster looks like it would be, it would get with it. But after that, they all kind of, there's a lot of small type, you know, that Night Force of Lee Roberts. That is a crazy fast car in its caliber of cars. And that is Dennis Bailey with the Silverback Gorilla, that Pro Mod looking Camaro. I want to know what happened to the Mustang he had, the Killer Gorilla, the Mustang that him and Sean raced. I want to know what happened to that car. I liked that car better than the car he has now. One more guy in the Memphis bunch, and that is Jason Carpenter in that first generation Camaro. When he first come onto the scene, the car was blue. Thought it was a good looking car then, but the car is absolutely gorgeous now. And I know everybody's seen it. I know everybody's talked about it, but when he swapped lanes and went around that other Camaro and come back to his lane, that was the damnedest thing that I've ever seen in my life on a racetrack or on a street during a race, whatever you want to call it. That was almost so wild that it seemed scripted. I know it wasn't, but that was the damnedest thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, how did he know that the guy wasn't going to swerve back into his own lane, you know? That was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Carp, if you ever do watch this, props to you, buddy. That was an amazing show of skill driving that race car. I thought it was awesome. One more thing right quick. If you've noticed in the previews, there is a big brawl that breaks out in the Memphis bunch, with the Memphis bunch. And if you put a lot of things together and know a little bit about the history behind Memphis Street Outlaws and JJ, is what happened was JJ had a past and has been in prison. I think he spent 8 years in prison. And one thing you don't do in prison at all is call somebody a bitch. And, you know, him and Chuck went rounds a long time ago because somebody on Chuck's crew called JJ a bitch, trying to entice him to race on Facebook or some form of social media. And he thought, he took it personal, and he shouldn't have, but he did. They all figured out what happened, calmed it down. Well, in that preview, it shows a guy walking through there, and he hollers, "JJ is a bitch." Well, Doughboy's standing right behind him and took it personal, and the brawl breaks out. So, little backstory of why that takes place, but Them cars are in their element on the street. You put any of them cars on a track or on a no prep where you can turn them up and get all of it out, that's not the caliber of cars that they have. If you notice, you don't see many of them cars at tracks as far as the no prep Kings thing that's going on and that sort of thing. All these cars are going to be small tire, more small tire, street cars only. We can go over a few of the faster cars from Memphis, and the fastest ones I see is going to be Jamie Otts with a killer cab, Heifer, Gangster of Don Gingrich, and Mustang Mike with that new red Mustang. That's the fastest ones on the show right now. And I'll tell you another thing I've noticed about the Memphis Street Outlaws, and that is that the cars tend to rotate out. And when I say that, I mean, you know, JJ's had Heifer, Prostitute, Old Heavy, and the Zip Tie. And he's so, with the exception of Old Heavy, and Heifer. And when it comes to Prostitute and Zip Tie, he sold them to, you know, he said his money got tight or whatever. And since the show come on, he has bought, I know, Zip Tie back because it was on there, but since, Midget has wrecked. There's a picture on the screen right now of the car laying upside down. That has not aired yet. It is this season. It's going to happen. It's been in the previews. But, you know, I remember several months ago when the wreck that where he had them both on the trailer actually happened. That's been a while back. I could go back and find the date of when that happened. But, you know, all this stuff has happened in such a long span for them to be just now getting it on television. If JJ can keep all this together, that is going to be the #1 show, and I see it will eventually take over the whole Street Outlaws franchise, in my opinion. I don't know. I can't exactly put my number on what the 405 is doing wrong, and I feel like they're trying to fix what's going on before they even know what's going on. Please, if any of them's watching this, and I'm pretty sure that some of them are because I have got some messages from some of them, I really want to see them race some out-of-town guys again. You know, they went to Memphis the very first episode, and they went to a couple of no-prep tracks, and that's not what we signed on to watch when we started watching Street Outlaws, and you created the following that is Street Outlaws. I want to see you race somebody else. You know, the drama that they have inside the circle of the list and everybody in the 405 is enough drama for a television show, but it's kind of like they're just doing the same thing every week. It's nothing new. It's, you know, the same cars trying on the list, the same several on the bottom. You know, ever so often something interesting happens, but you know, hell, I even have got to where I'm missing Farm Trucking Asia and doing their fishing and doing their little antics that they got going on. It's just not the same anymore, and I don't know exactly what they need to do to fix it, but I'm ready to see it fixed and ready to see the Street Outlaws that everyone fell in love with and that they had for, you know, what, 8 seasons, 9 seasons. So you got one show that all they're doing is list racing, and you got one show that they don't even have a list. In the comment box below, tell me what you think is wrong with the 405. Why does it not feel the same to you? And I want to hear your thoughts on the Memphis guys. Comment box below, email address on the screen. Let me know what you think. I want to see JJ and that group succeed so much. They tried it with NOLA. It didn't happen. You know, it just wasn't there. With that being said, any comments you have, put in the comment section below. Email address is on the screen. Everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you haven't already subscribe, hit the bell if you want notifications, and Godspeed. Thanks for watching. And I really hope that I can use this outlet via YouTube to interact with you guys, and let's build it together. You know, the car that I have coming within a couple of weeks is going to be a build that you and I build together. I'm going to let my subscribers completely build this car to a certain level anyway, and see what we can come up with. You know, I do not plan on building something that is not streetable, that I can't drive, you know, wherever I want to drive it. But the car, it is a 6-speed car, and it will be coming very, very soon.